Okay, so imagine a society that's built not on ladders, but on spirals. Today, we're going to dive deep into the Arreqqana, a people whose entire way of life, everything from love to learning, is woven from these incredible, sacred, interconnected threads.
Right off the bat, this explainer forces us to just completely rethink how we look at relationships. Forget the whole idea of climbing a ladder of commitment. Instead, just picture yourself moving through the rings of a spiral. What matters isn't what's higher or lower, it's about what's closer to the sacred core of your life.
And this gets us to the absolute heart of their entire society, the Koramivaja spiral, which basically means the spiral of sacred ties. It's this whole model where love is defined by its specific duty, its specific resonance, not by some kind of ranking. In this spiral, every single bond has its own sacred spot and its own unique purpose.
So, how does this spiral actually play out? Well, it's organized into 7 distinct rings of love and duty. It moves from the most divine and universal things all the way out to the political and symbolic. Let's trace these threads together.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts at the center. This is the anchor for every other bond. Laha. This is the love for the divine, for the universal forces that shape all of existence. It's this eternal, ritual-bound love, and for the Arreqqana, it's the soul's first and most important allegiance, period. Building right on top of that divine connection, the next ring out is Kasora. This is that fierce, sacred love between life partners. And you gotta think of it as more than just romance. It's a soul vow. It's sealed through these really powerful rituals like flame thread joining ceremonies. This bond, it demands sacrifice, protection, and a deep commitment to lifting each other up spiritually.
Spiraling outward from there, we get to Kavara, which is the love for your clan and your family. And this is a really crucial point if you want to understand this society. Mothers and matriarchs are the absolute center of this ring. Everyone else, they form these strong honor bonds around them.
So that clan-level bond, it then extends out into Arreqqa, the love for your wider community and your homeland. This is literally the glue that holds their society together. And you see it expressed in big festivals and mentorship. And the expectation is totally clear. You defend the unity of your community, even when you disagree.
But okay, what about the bonds we actually choose? Well, the spiral makes a sacred space for that too. It's called Saravya, that deep, unwavering loyalty of friendship. And what's so fascinating here is that these bonds are so respected that a friend can be ritually thread ascended, becoming, for all intents and purposes, sacred family.
Even strangers have a place in this spiral. It's called Kohalia, a respectful but also kind of cautious love for foreigners. It's all governed by these very strict rules, but the absolute core principle is this: you must never shame a guest or anyone who is seeking peace.
And finally, we get to the outermost ring, Kwaryasa. This is a more symbolic, almost performative love for the nation. But, and this is a huge but, it comes with a major warning. This patriotic love must never be allowed to overshadow the more sacred inner bonds like family or your partnership. The spiral has its priorities straight.
All right, now let's really zoom in on those inner rings to see how this whole philosophy actually plays out at home. Because the Arreqqana family structure, well, it's unlike anything you've probably ever seen before.
The family hierarchy is crystal clear. At the very, very top, you have the matriarch, the sacred flame root. Below her, you have the co-husbands, and their pact isn't about rivalry at all, it's about a shared service to her. And then, supporting this whole core unit are the lineal cousins, who act as spiritual siblings and allies.
The power of the matriarch is just, you can't overstate it. She isn't just some figurehead. She is the spiritual anchor. And this belief is absolute. A family without her is literally considered adrift and unstable. She holds all the authority, legal, spiritual, and emotional.
So you're probably asking, how do co-husbands manage this whole thing? Well, they live by a code. It's called the Kuvit-Dara Pact, and it's built on 5 key principles that are all designed to maintain harmony. Any rivalry gets dealt with ritual. Pride is shared, it's not possessive. Duties rotate. They witness each other's emotions without any shame. And above all else, they present a united front of protection.
But is this system really as harmonious as it sounds on paper? This is where we start to see the cracks. The official view, from a priestess, calls it devotion. But then a poet's critique reveals this hidden pain, a forced duty, pressure disguised as pride. It's a sign of a really deep cultural debate that's just churning right beneath the surface. So this incredibly intricate social fabric, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's maintained by an equally structured and, honestly, profound system of personal and spiritual growth that lasts your entire life.
For the Arreqqana, learning isn't about memorizing a bunch of facts. This quote right here, it reveals their entire philosophy. It's a spiritual act. Learning is the process of remembering what your soul already knows. It's about finding your alignment with these universal truths.
And this philosophy is literally woven into the rhythm of their lives. Learning happens in these expanding cycles. You've got daily pulse learning just to spark awareness. Then there's weekly thread learning to deepen skills, monthly rituals to integrate all that knowledge, and then yearly soul weaving to shape your very identity. It never stops.
So what does that weekly learning actually look like? Well, it's organized by these elemental threads. The flame thread is all about action, so think debate and martial arts. The river thread is for emotion, storytelling, emotional mapping. It's a truly holistic education, right? It's designed to develop every single part of the self.
Which kind of brings us to the central question here. With all of this intricate structure, does it actually work? I mean, is this a culture of perfect harmony, or does all that rigidity create its own kinds of conflicts?
This takes us right back to that core conflict we saw a little bit earlier. On one side, you have the elder proposing a compromise. Just make the co-husband pact optional. They're arguing that for something to be sacred, it also has to be freely chosen. Makes sense. But then the poet demands more. A complete break between love and tradition. Show the flame, but do not hand me the chain. Wow.
In the end, the Arreqqana themselves don't really offer us a simple answer. A chant from one of their own public debates frames this brotherhood as three things all at once. It is breath, it's essential, it is burden, it's difficult, and, hopefully, it is balance. Their entire system is a living, breathing negotiation, not some settled ancient fact.
And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. In a society that is this interconnected, where every single relationship is a sacred thread in a much larger tapestry, what happens when one of those threads breaks? Is it just a personal failure, or is it a tear in the cultural fabric itself?